So we also have 7 clans. We have paint, bird, deer, wild potato, long hair, wolf, and blue. And each one of these sections is designated for a specific clan, and only members of that clan can sit there. We're a matriarchal society, so everything gets passed down through the female, so you get your clan from your mother. I was born deer because my mother is deer, my grandmother is deer, and so on and so forth. And because clans are considered large families within a village, you're not allowed to marry within your own clan. So when you decide to take a spouse, you have to pick someone from one of the other 6 clans. For instance, whenever I got married, I married a man from the Bird clan, and because we are matriarchal, when he married me, he took my clan, and our children are my clan. Now my boys, when they go off and get married, they will take their wife's clan, and their children will be her clan. Below that, we have our eagle wands. Have you guys gotten the square grounds lecture yet? The big sandy area? Okay, so he's already explained those to you. Below that, we have our white gourd dippers, and we use this big white bowl right here. We fill this bowl with pure spring water, and we paint these white because white is the color of purity and peace. Each clan has their own designated gourd dipper that only they are allowed to use, and will come and drink from this bowl. And this purifies the mind and body. This is our purification ceremony. Now in the center of the room is our fireplace, and this fire is of such importance to us that it's never allowed to go out. In fact, there are 2 men stationed in here whose only job in the village is to make sure that this fire burns at all times, and should it go out, they would be put to death. On the outside is our 7-pointed wooden star. Each point corresponds with a specific clan, and the wood itself represents that each clan is responsible for bringing a specific type of wood to feed this fire over the course of the year. The only time this fire is ever allowed to die down is late August or early September, because this is green corn. This is the beginning of the new year for us. And so after we've let it die down, we take the embers and we put them in this bumpy little red pot right here, and this is called a fire pot. And then we'll set it aside while we clean out the fireplace. At the same time, women in the homes will clean out their fireplace, come here and get embers from the council house fire pot, take them back home, and rekindle the fires in their homes. This rids the homes of negative energies and evil spirits, but this also represents our connection to each other. This is called the green corn ceremony. Then once this is completed, we will take the remaining embers, place them back into the fireplace, and rekindle the fire so that it's never been allowed to go out. Behind me, we have our 3 headdresses. Each village has 2 chiefs. They have a peace chief and a war chief. The peace chief wears the yellow and the white along with his cape right here, which is made from the chest feathers of the wild turkey. The yellow headdress he only wears at the time of his initial inauguration and every 7 years when he retakes his oath as peace chief. The white headdress he wears during civil ceremonies, wedding ceremonies, council sessions, court proceedings, and things of that nature. Then in times of war, the peace chief will step down and the war chief takes over. He wears the red along with that cape up there, which is made from the tail feathers of the wild turkey. It's trimmed in red and black because red signifies blood and victory, and black because it signifies death and hatred. Now the war chief, whenever he takes office, he pledges an oath to never shed the blood of women, children, elderly, or anyone who will not defend themselves. Should he do so, he himself will be put to death. On my right over here, this is our skirt. This is also made from the chest feathers of the wild turkey, and this is worn by the beloved woman. The beloved woman is either the widow of a chief or simply an elderly lady who is held in very high regard and is very highly respected within the village. Each chief has a council consisting of 2 members from each of the 7 clans, a principal speaker, and a right-hand man. The beloved woman has her own council, except hers is made up of elderly women, and they are called the beloved women or the war women, and it is these ladies who determine the fate of prisoners. So should you commit a crime, whether it be against an individual or the village as a whole, these ladies are the ones who will decide what to do with you. They sit in on all council sessions leading up to and including whether or not to go to war, and because our women are so highly respected, the beloved woman herself has the power to veto any decision reached by the chief and his council. In 1830, Andrew Jackson signed what was called the Indian Removal Act. What this was an act stating that all of the Native Americans from the southeast United States be rounded up and forced onto reservations out in the west. About 20,000 of those were Cherokee, and unfortunately about 5,000 of us died along the way due to lack of food, shelter, illness, and poor treatment from the soldiers. The Cherokee that are out west are 2 completely separate tribes from us now. They are the Cherokee Nation and the Onondaga Band, and we are the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians because we are the descendants of the ones who refused to leave. So when the soldiers came to round us up, we fled for the mountains and hid. And because of the sacrifice of a man named Solly and his family, they decided to leave us alone. So we took what money we could get together and gave to Will Thomas, because at this point in U.S. history, Native Americans were not allowed to own property, but Will Thomas, being a white man, could. But he also just happened to be one of us, because he was the adopted son of Drowning Bear, also known as Yonaguska. So he purchased this land here for us. So we technically are not a reservation because we own our land. It wasn't issued to us by the federal government. Then in 1924, when we became U.S. citizens, we placed our land in trust to the government. And what this means is that our land can never be sold to outsiders, it can only be sold amongst ourselves, and it can only be leased for up to 25 years at a time. We're a sovereign nation, so it's kind of like we're our own country within the United States. We have our own judicial system, our own healthcare system, and our own school system. And although we choose to go by the state curriculum in our schools, we do add our own history and culture as well. We also have an immersion school where children from 6 months up to middle school can go. They're spoken to in nothing but Cherokee all day long. And the parents of those children also take classes so that they may be able to speak their native tongue at home. We're also a completely self-sustaining nation, so we require no assistance from the U.S. government. But as you guys came through the village here today, I'm sure that you were probably told that we do not have a word in Cherokee for goodbye. So I'll say Dedidaga, which means until we meet again, because we do believe that even if we don't meet again in this life, we may still yet meet again in the next one. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Wow.